Hey guys, and welcome to a new video of Bitcoin Edge. Today we're talking to Adam from TradingRiot. How are you today, Adam?
Hi, I'm fine. Thank you for having me.
So, just to hop into it, we're sharing Adam's screen over here. Adam, first off, what made you start TradingRiot?
Oh, well, I started the website like I don't know, it's going to be a year ago, and I actually started it during like when the COVID pandemic was at like the worst
Mm-hmm.
stage here, and I was kind of bored, and I was like not that I'm not home, or watch it at the screens all day anyway, but yeah, I just wanted to start doing something because like I try to travel and go out, but I was just kind of stuck home, so I just wanted to start a blog
Mm-hmm.
where I would share some stuff which when I was learning it was not really easily accessible
Mm-hmm.
things which were usually kind of expensive to get, and yeah, and also I didn't like how all these things were presented as well. So I just figured out that I might just start something for free and you
Mm-hmm.
know share some things what I do and stuff like that.
Yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool. Um, you mentioned you don't want to talk too much about Trading Riot, so we're gonna cut to more questions about you and how you
Yeah.
work. So, as a full time trader, which you are, how do you start your day? Is there a ritual or like a certain set of steps you take to start your day?
Well, uh, sorry, I will start it again. Yeah. Well, usually, I trade different markets, besides crypto. I also
Mm-hmm.
trade some legacy markets, and I also do some, other things besides trading. So I'm uh always trying to have some sort of schedule with things, and it's easier in legacy markets as they usually close overnight, or the volatility is really low with Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
For example, as I live in Europe and a lot of things usually happens in Asia session, I kind of have to adjust um, every day. So basically every morning, I just do a little bit of prep, but I try to keep up to date always. So yeah, the prep should be always minimal, and I just have some areas where I want to trade for a day, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And do you set those out like the day before? Like, I'm gonna watch this and this. Do you have a plan before you start the day, or is it like you're seeing what's gonna happen and act on that? Or
Yeah, but that's kind of like there are for most people that are day trading, there are like two cases. You either trade based on the levels you from like prior days or you prepped for, or you are trading kind of what's going on in the market right now.
mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
you know, as an example, if you can take a look at my chart,
Mm-hmm.
I have some like box highlighted here, which yesterday as market, around 10 p.m. This is where I usually like just log off. I wanted to short here yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
but the market dynamics are always changing,
Mm-hmm.
especially in BTC. So that's kind of when you have to adjust
Mm-hmm.
for like the levels. It's always good to have some sort of preparation and levels marked out and everything. But if you are day trading and focusing on like short term moves, markets is always changing. So yeah, lot of things I do are usually happening during the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like like most of my trades are based on like what's happening right now, and I just react to stuff that I see rather
Mm-hmm.
than waking up somewhere around here, placing a limit order, I don't know, somewhere here, and just leave the computer.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I prepare. I have levels marked out, but you can see that I don't have many lines here or stuff like that. So I usually just watch the market and what's going on, and I react based on that.
And can you tell us a little bit at what you were looking at? What methods do you use? Um,
Yeah,
um,
sure. Well, actually, I trade like a lot of things I do. It's kind of a basic price action. I know a lot of people always asking me on Twitter, and
mhm,
uh, since I don't use something like TradingView or
mhm,
the things that most people use. Everyone is always so really curious, but a lot of things that I do are just basic price action and volume profiles, and
mhm,
generally like watching the interaction of market participants at
mhm,
different levels.
mhm,
But yeah, so I can, if I have to like summarize what I do, I always start with some basic PA, or and look at areas where the volume were traded before, so I know that people might step there again, and then I just look at order flow
mhm,
uh, in terms of what's going on at the moment and
mhm, mhm,
what other people are doing. Yeah.
mhm. And what in that way, would you give an edge? Like, what do you see most people forgetting, for example? Might be a stupid question, but what do you do different compared to other people? Because just like you said, a lot of people are showing attention to Sierra, basically, and different types of trading, basically. CT is all about technical analysis. You do
Yeah.
it very differently. Um, so what is the difference and what is the edge in that? Just I'm gonna be play the stupid guy over here, if that's fine. Um,
In what I do personally, or
mm-hmm.
if in like
Yeah,
trading in general, in what I
yeah,
do.
yeah.
Uh, well, I think that it's kind of the way that I trade is just what kind of makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that's I think that's something that everyone should find in their trading.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, when I learned about the order flow and watching what other people are doing, and when I learned how to use the volume profiles and why market is reacting at areas of high volume or low volume and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, it just kind of made sense to me. I think it's you don't have to do it. I know a lot of people who just trade very simple price action, use indicators, and they are just doing real well. I think there is like you of course need to have a strategy, but the most important thing is like sticking to what you are doing and yeah, like don't go crazy with your risk for trades and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the real edge is kind of in that,
Mm-hmm.
rather than having some special indicators or
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So
Execution is maybe what you're like saying.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, that's
uh,
that's that's kind of a thing as well because
yeah.
yeah.
And all you were talking about limit orders, setting limit orders. Do you always set limit orders, or do you sometimes hit the buy button, or um,
Uh, well, it depends. Like when I trade legacy markets, like bonds, for example, the European bonds, I always use limit orders because it's very liquid market. So
mhm,
even one tick then there can be costly. But in less liquid markets like crypto or I don't know crude gold,
mhm,
uh, I don't mind it that much. But for example, in Sierra and basically in every like more advanced platform, you have option to have like keybinds that will just buy at the nearest bid or
mhm.
sell at the ask. So you pretty much uh placing the limit order at like top of the book.
Yeah, like
So
a chaser, basically.
yeah,
Yeah,
basically it's like a limit chase order.
yeah.
So that's what I do. The thing with Sarah now, they only have a BitMEX available for trading, and I don't trade there anymore. I trade at FTX now, but yeah, when I used to trade at BitMEX, I had some different keybinds here that were like placing the orders at It's top of the book, and yeah, and I still try to do that even on FTX. It's not end of the world if you hit the market order, but obviously you will pay the fee for it, and yeah, with less liquid markets like Bitcoin, it's not that complicated to get
Slippage.
those fills, yes, the slippage, and but also get yourself in with the limit chase order.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
I feel you. And I believe, you were talking about, tweeting about it, why you stepped over to FTX. And it was basically because you thought the footprint was looking better on FTX, right?
Yeah, I think it's that's kind of a complicated thing with crypto and the order flow is that you have so many exchanges, and it's it's kind of like if you trade I don't know, like if you trade Euro futures, which are the same as the Euro USD and in spot forex, there is so much volume in spot forex that in your data might not be the best in the futures market, and this is kind of a issue with crypto as well, where it's so many exchanges. Obviously the spot is extremely popular, especially with like some institutional players and stuff like that. You have options, and so yeah, it's kind of hard to track some things, with precision. So I feel like FTX is at least like the biggest venue now, where it's traded with which is traded with stable coins. So yeah, and I'm not a fan of Binance. I never look at Binance data. I don't think they are accurate at all. So I kind of completely ignore Binance, and I look at FTX. I look at Bybit. I just basically I have Excel charts with like two footprints for Bybit and FTX, and I just look at them when I actually want to execute.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, I myself, like Bybit and BitMEX a lot, and I'll
yeah, and
compare it.
I think BitMEX is still great. Actually, it's kind of interesting that the order flow on BitMEX is still pretty accurate with even like volume profiles and everything works fine on BitMEX, but yeah, still it's fine to look at
Yeah,
elsewhere if
yeah, the market has changed a little bit, and that is a question. Maybe now is the right time. I'm not sure how long that you are trading crypto already, or Bitcoin. But what are some major things you've seen changing in Bitcoin, basically in Bitcoin trading, before
yeah.
before March 2020, for example? It was only BitMEX. BitMEX was the king when it came to open interest and stuff like that. Volume, I think, as well. Compared to other derivatives. What else have you seen changing in trading this Bitcoin thing?
Well, it's kind of a funny thing because I actually don't trade Bitcoin for that long.
Okay.
I've been in crypto since like early 2017, I think, like before the first big mainstream thing happened. But I was always trading, well, I was trading forex, then I was trading just legacy futures. So actually, I started like trading. Bitcoin futures only last year in summer last year, like
Okay.
few months before the whole BitMEX thing went down with Arthur, and so yeah, I actually don't I don't know, I don't have that much to say, I guess, compared to other people who's been
Okay.
trading only on the BTC for many years. But I even if I take like year back or when I started, it became much more efficient market. Um, you don't have that crazy spikes. These whipsaw candles and like massive stop runs. It feels like it's much more efficient. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
that's
yeah.
kind of thing I see, but like I said, I don't think I'm the best. person to talk about this.
No, but that's fine. That's fine. And can you tell us a little bit more about guys? I just have a list of questions, and I'm just searching for the best one
Yeah, sure,
to
sure.
to go on. Like, can you give us an example of a trade you made and what you were seeing, and explaining basically what happened? What gave you a decision? Did you see any bottom sellers, or did you see a great support somewhere? Or
Um, yeah, sure. I actually took a trade. Um,
it
I
can
wasn't trading today, but I took a trade yesterday,
it
actually.
can also be last week or something. Just a good
Uh,
example.
no, I can show this one. Let me do it like, can I just stop, um,
Deposit?
give me a second, sorry.
Sure, sure.
You still see the Sierra, right?
Yeah. Still see the share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I actually took a screenshot of the trade. I was actually planning to make a YouTube video about it, but I will
Hmm.
show it here. But I kind of want to show that I took it, So yeah,
Hmm.
it's kind of a thing that people sometimes talk about things that didn't actually happen. But I need to find it first, so give me a second.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure I have a screenshot
Sure.
somewhere.
Guys, in the meantime, you
Uh,
can visit tradingriot.com, it's Adam's website, and follow him on Twitter.
Okay, so I found a screenshot and now I have to fucking figure out how to show it here. Fucking hell.
I don't know how this
Uh,
works.
yeah, I can, if I change the screen like this,
Yeah, we're
can you,
seeing it now. Yeah, we're
yeah,
seeing it now.
you can see it. Awesome. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is the trade I took. This happened yesterday, I think.
Hmm.
I was in long the first position. This was just I kind of misclicked and I wanted to set limit order, which I marketed in. So that's nothing. But I took a long, from
Hmm.
kind of here to here, which is um in this chart. It's this move right here. Um,
Yeah, I
Let
think
me
I see
actually.
it.
Yeah, that one was a 5 minute chart. This is a
So
tick chart, so it's a little
it's
bit
basically an
different.
inverse head and shoulders
Oh,
as yeah.
it's like from here to here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this was kind of a. You can see this as a inverse head and shoulders. This is one
Yeah.
of the patterns I like to trade.
Yeah.
Trading at the right shoulder.
Hmm.
Uh, but also there was pretty decent context here. As this was like the low that
Hmm.
was made here, and I have this thing in Sierra chart which pretty much highlights when there is a high delta, which are the market orders.
Hmm.
The delta just tracking the orders that are executed in the market and also the high volume. So it's kind of connecting the two things, and yeah, so the red candles mean there is a high volume and
Hmm.
also high selling coming into kind of this prior low, which was
Hmm.
here, and market immediately, bounced back.
Hmm.
The blue candles are kind of a inverse of that, so high volume,
And a lot of
high
buys.
buying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have this kind of a classic, structure break as you take as you trade above the swing high that made this low.
Hmm.
So you kind of shift the structure here, and basically when I woke up, market was trading somewhere here. And there's always the chance it will just continue higher, but this is the point when you uh, need to also think about stuff like risk to reward ratios, and when like the always the best thing is if you can get in the closest to your invalidation,
Hmm.
which is obviously at this low. I'm a lot of times I'm using like soft stops and hard stops. So my soft stop was here, and I had a hard stop here. So basically, if we would
Yeah.
start trading below here, I would just cut it. But this allows me to, go with kind of a bigger position
And
sizes
and
as
and
well.
your soft stop, do you try to then limit out, or what are you trying to do, or just hit market yourself and watch what's
No,
happening?
I usually just hit market when
Okay.
when I'm doing this and I see, market going to my soft stop. I just mark it out and I
Mm-hmm.
don't see, immediate bounce back, because that's what a lot of people, screw up, that they set up some soft stop, but they will never execute on that, and
Mm-hmm.
it will, because, for example, and this is actually kind of really high probability setup. This is something
Mm-hmm.
I like to trade really often, because
Mm-hmm.
we also, if I take a look at the this thing, which is market profile chart, we were also, this was the volume value area low from the
Mm-hmm.
prior day, so we are also testing that, below, after the reclaim of prior day low. So this is actually a really nice trade, and you have some single prints above the market. I only took it to this intraday kind of a poor high, which is basically if you have two 30-minute candles that don't exceed each other, so it's like a double top,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to call it this way. So yeah, with trades like these, because you can basically um, set the limit order here. Your target would be this high, so this is like 2.5 hour trade, which is fine. But once you kind of start to journal these things and take a lot of them, you know that in theory, there is not really a reason for market to kind of exceed this structure
Mm-hmm.
right here, below the yesterday low. So what I then tend to do is, I'm not risking, I mean, for day trades, I risk like 1% per trade. I don't really like to fuck around with this that much. So I'm usually pretty, static with 1% per trade risk. But this, since I have some kind of experience with this, I know how these structures look, how these structures play out.
Mm-hmm.
Also, here is the cumulative volume delta. This is once again, showing uh, the market orders. You can
Mm-hmm.
see that basically you are making a lower low here,
Mm-hmm.
but this is much higher.
Mm-hmm.
So what this kind of tells you is there is in this leg down, there is a lot of market selling, but
Mm-hmm.
the market itself is not really going lower,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense. So it's basically spot keeping
so
the price up.
yeah. So basically, if market comes here and there is someone with a huge size, sitting,
Mm-hmm.
trying to fill his long, he will have quite a easy time doing that, because there is a lot of selling coming to this level.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So what I wanted to say, that with trades like these, I know that it shouldn't. There is like no reason for it to go lower than this.
Mm-hmm.
So I can, instead of risking 1%, I can risk like two and a half. My theoretical 1% loss will be if we start trading below it, and I will manually cut it.
Mm-hmm.
So I will lose like 1.5%
Mm-hmm.
max, which is for me worth it with trades like these, which, like I said, they
You
they
see
have a
them
high
every day.
probability.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, this is something you don't see every day, and
Mm.
that's why it works so
Okay.
well, because
Okay.
there are like more things to it. How market drives into these low. You have these
Mm-hmm.
like three drives. Uh,
Oh
you
yeah.
have always, like a high selling pressure keeping up. They
Mm-hmm.
cannot crack it lower. It breaks the structure. So yeah, this was actually a very nice trade, although we went higher and then sold off. So shorting might be a better trade here, in terms of capturing the move. But I never got filled on short, because once again, at least how I like to trade is, although I'm executing mostly on tick charts, sometimes 5-minute chart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still kind of navigating at the 30-minute time frame. Because I know, a lot of people who are using order flow and market profile, they usually scalping, and they take like 20 round trips a day or whatever. But yeah, I'm not really good at that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, my kind of ideal spot is like take like for each market that I trade like if I take one good trade a day, that's like more than enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually hold trades for like I don't know, like between 1 and 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm not really scalping, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't know what scalping actually is. I see this on Twitter a lot of time, and someone sharing some trades and saying that it was just a scalp and they held the trade for like 3 hours. That's not really scalping. That's
Mm-hmm.
more of a intraday swing trading, which is something that I do. I think scalping is really being in and out within like minutes, seconds. Most people that I know and I like to follow who are scalping, they are not trading crypto, they are trading legacy markets. They don't even use charts, they just execute on them. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of scalping for me.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are capturing like half of daily ATR or one third of daily ATR, that's usually a more of a day trade or intraday, swing trade and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, my point was that I wanted to get short here. But once again, if I take a look on a 30-minute chart, my invalidation is pretty much above this high here, and
Yeah.
that's kind of a thing that I do, which I think there might be that, as you asked before, the kind of edge uh for me is that I wouldn't take trade like this. Although it worked out here, uh I always try to do as you know like as tight as stop as possible,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I can, I don't mind missing the trade, but I much rather be in a trade which, have chance to, hit like 4R here instead of like, I don't know, because I would target new low of the day, basically, or maybe even here the value area low. So, this would be like 1.5R
Mm-hmm.
maybe. But I was looking at, maybe test of this value area high, which is this shaded kind of area, and then
Mm-hmm.
some failure here. Uh, but basically, as this happened, I then tried to get filled into something like this, which, as you can see, I didn't get
Yeah.
felt here. And
Mm-hmm.
also there was some like solar absorption at the VWAP, so
Mm-hmm.
this wasn't, I wasn't too sure about it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's kind of a thing that I like to do. I don't really trade like tick charts or 5 minute time frames. I really like 30-minute chart is kind of what I care about the most. But when it comes to execution, I'm always trying to pick some low time frame areas which are not tested, where I can really squeeze the high risk reward um from the trade. So that way, uh it increase my kind of long term probabilities, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you're seeming very rational about it. Very um, yeah, extremely rational. To be honest, like what do you do if you mess up a trade, for example?
Uh, well, that happens a lot.
Yeah, but I
No,
mean, but do you stay cool, like as cool and rational as you are now, or like I mean that is like execution and
well,
um,
it. Can I swear?
I'm not sure if YouTube is okay with that, but I don't know if it slips,
Yeah.
it
So
slips.
okay. Yeah. So yeah, it always sucks. It's
Hmm.
when I have because the perception of trading on Twitter and all social media is it's kind of terrible. People even on Twitter, people flexing. Their trades, how they made seven figures
Hmm.
within like 2 months or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't, or I haven't found this way of trading like ever. So
Hmm.
maybe I'm doing something wrong, but yeah, it always sucks. I have a fair amount of like down days. I usually don't, or I haven't had a down week in a quite quite a while, which I think is
That's
kind of
very good.
success. Yeah, but it happens. Down days happen. For example, the I'm trading the German 10-year bonds, which is kind of one of my main markets that I trade, or I traded
Mm-hmm.
for quite a bit of time now. Um, and there were three trades this week, which I got stopped out by one tick, and the two trades that I didn't get filled by one tick.
Mm.
So I'm pretty much down in the market, in that particular market for this week, and it sucks. But there's kind of it's the thing is I'm not really a huge believer in like trading psychology and all that.
Mm-hmm.
All these trading psychology books and stuff.
No,
It's
no,
really
no.
not. Yeah, I mean like stuff like meditation. That kind of help you to maybe be a less of a dick of person. But for trading, you really just need to trade.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go crazy. Like I know that I'm really um like I never go crazy with like things like my risk. I don't
Mm-hmm.
lose a trade and then risk 10% on the next trade. I don't reduce my risk, but I know how thanks to journaling and thanks to the fact that I'm doing this for a while, I know how many losses I can take in a row. But when I take when I take a loss, I don't decrease my size. When I have like three winners in a row, I don't increase my size. I just
Mm-hmm.
you know really try to be as as kind of cool about it as you can, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if you have a system which you uh test it, which I think the best way to find out if you have kind of some edge, or if the things that you do are working, is to just live trade it with a small account,
Mm-hmm.
or even on demo account. It doesn't really matter. It's as long as you can then trade it with the real money. But um yeah, like once you have like few months of experience, and you know that the things that you are doing are working, then you just need to trade it.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't do anything stupid, don't go crazy with risk, and just if you have for example, if I take like three losses in a day, I usually walk out.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier said than done. Always, I'm
Mm-hmm.
always like, even after few years of doing it, I'm always fucking pissed.
Mm-hmm.
But it happens. It's just, yeah, that's kind of a trading. So you just have to stick to the things that you are doing. If you, for example, have a bad week, or bad couple of trades, what a lot of people are doing, just go look for some other strategies. Thinking that it can be problem with the strategy. Try to quickly adjust things. But it's just the markets. There are good market conditions and there are bad market conditions. So um yeah, it's always hard. I don't want to sound like too calm and cool about it, because it's always sucks
Mm-hmm.
when you are losing money, and especially you know if you are day trading and you are sitting like 12 hours a day in front of screens, and then you will just have to walk away with a red day. It's kind of exhausting. But
Yeah.
uh yeah, it's just how it kind of goes. So
Mm-hmm.
you just have to stick to it. And I think the most important thing, what actually helped me a lot, was um like journaling the trades. I don't. I'm not too crazy with any like statistics, but taking screenshots of things you do, of trades that worked out, of trades that didn't work out, because once you will have that bad trading streak, you can just open your journal or just some folder you have in your computer, whatever, and you will see the trades that you took, and you will kind of get this reassurance in your trading strategy and in things that you do. And you will all of a sudden realize that it's just bad conditions, or you're just having a bad trading streak,
Mm-hmm.
which can happen. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
All right. Quick question. How do you journal? Do you just save in a document or something, or do you have like a
Uh,
private, like your
I
own Discord where you?
I'm personally using Edgewonk
Mm-hmm.
for journaling. Uh, but it's because I am trading also legacy markets. If I would
Mm-hmm.
be only trading crypto, I would use either Edge sheet, which I like because it's quite simple. You know, like I said, I'm not too crazy about statistics.
Mm-hmm.
Or the second one, the Coin Market Man.
Okay. Yeah.
They both have very good journals. It's but what I like in crypto with crypto journals is that you have that API connection,
Mm-hmm.
so you know it will automatically import the
Mm-hmm.
trades for you, which because it kind of sucks when I take 10 trades a day and then I have to say them manually,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
put them down in Edgewonk. But Edgewonk overall is a good journal. It
Okay.
just I wish they had that feature.
Okay.
But yeah,
Thanks. Yeah.
I usually do it like I used to do it every day, but now I'm just doing on Wednesdays and
Mm-hmm.
weekends. I
Mm-hmm.
like split my week into two journaling periods where I just sit down in the evening and journal
Okay.
some trades I took.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. And do you often like feel dumb or smart, or like do you look back? Like how do you look back? Is it like emotion in the look back, or like, oh man, what did I do over here, or what was I thinking, or um.
Well, it's kind of hard because if you are discretionary trader, which I am,
Mhm.
although if I would show you like last I don't know 100 trades I took, you would start to see similarities. But still, every decision I make, it's like 100% discretionary.
Mhm.
So um, yeah, that's kind of hard thing with this
Mhm.
because if you are, if you have some algo or if you are just systematic trader, it's much easier to kind of evaluate yourself because you don't have to include the emotions and all of that
Mhm.
into it.
Mhm.
So yeah, there are some trades which I took and then journal them and I was like, yeah, like what I was
Mhm.
thinking here. It was just heat of the moment, let's say. So but yeah, that happens. And a lot of times it's like when like I'm really trying to take the easy trades. If once
Mhm.
you will have some sample size, you know what the easy trade is, you know what a hard trade, or not hard trade, but you will kind of start to know what works and what doesn't.
Mhm.
So, you will have this kind of a thing that you are thinking about taking a trade, but you're like, yeah, this is not the structure I usually like to see, and
Mhm.
which usually works out. So I'm just going to skip this one. And sometimes you will skip in and it will work out, but that's kind of a thing of discretionary trading. It
Mhm.
will,
Mhm. Thanks.
yeah,
Thanks. Something popped in my mind, and I'm not sure if you want to talk about it, but do you remember when basically Tesla announced they bought Bitcoin?
yeah,
I mean, you basically were the first one to share it in our group, and I was like, "What the hell is he?
yeah,
What the hell is he sharing over here?" And I was searching Twitter, and it was nowhere. And we were basically figuring out the
it
SEC
was like
website.
February, some day in February, right? It
Yeah, we
was,
were at 38K. I remember 38 something.
yeah, it was somewhere. Let me actually. Yeah, well, it's this day. It's this one. I remember that. Um,
I remember it like
yeah,
the day of
well,
yesterday. Like we were like, or you came up with the document, like the link from the SEC, and I was like, oh, what the
yeah,
hell is
but it's
this?
that's not such a secret because I actually seen it on Twitter. So
You seen
there
it on
was
Twitter,
no. Yeah, yeah,
but
I did.
it was
There
like
was.
hey, you were 8 minutes. Like I checked it back. You were 8 minutes
Yeah,
early before like
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Like
Yeah, I seen it on Twitter from one of guys that I follow. And yeah, I wasn't sure if that's even real, but yeah, it was actually right here. I still remember that. I just opened some stupid, size long, and I was like, hey, if this is not going to work out, it's still, worth it,
I mean,
worth the take.
it was so
And
funny.
yeah,
We were with I maybe we were with 5 guys or something in the group awake at that time,
Yeah.
and it was at one point, okay, is everybody 100x,
Mhm.
That's basically what we did, and yeah, guys, you see the chart, he
It's
went straight
it's
up.
really, yeah, and the worst thing is that I closed it like around at the end of the day, and I had a huge position opened, and
Yeah,
we pushed hard, and then we kind of started slowing down. So I was like,
yeah,
okay, I'm really up at this point,
yeah.
quite a bit. So I will just not do something,
I closed it over
in
there as
case
well.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same
yeah.
for me. It felt bad, after. But I mean, the thing is, we did 100x. I mean, I did 100x leverage. I never do those things, and I was like,
Yeah.
I was orgasming for a week. Like what the hell just happened? So thanks for that.
Yeah,
Yeah, like you came
yeah,
up with
sure.
it. So thanks.
Yeah, if I like, kind of think back about it, in like news which were such a huge as these, and obviously at this point it was confirmed. I shouldn't have closed the trade. I should maybe even like going to break even and be like, okay, even though I never, when I actually trade and I just don't follow some crazy news like this, I don't use break even stops. But for this one, I probably should have just like let it run, and because I would be pretty up
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
if
I
if I,
mean,
but you
our
never know with this
our
stuff.
entry
So
never got tested anymore. Like, oh, okay, yeah, it did,
yeah,
eventually after a couple of months, but yeah,
yeah,
for a while it
you
didn't get.
never. Yeah, well, it's always like this. It's easy in hindsight, but you know, in the heat of a moment, and when you are watching the PNL and everything, it's kind of
Yeah, it's
a
euphoric,
whole different. Yeah, it's a whole different
You're
thing
you're
to
you're, you're
you
not so
know.
rational anymore back like then, that day.
Yeah.
No, but thanks seriously. Um,
Sure.
okay, let's go on. Do you have any psychological blockades for doing anything? Like you see something and you're like, yeah, but I don't know. I just kind of do it. I don't know. Like maybe it's yeah. Is it?
Well, I don't think I do. What I kind of struggle with is there are it's just really exhausting thing to do. Like honestly, trading like this, it's really, there are days when it's really hard. Like wake up every day at 6, sitting in front of computer whole day. That's kind of my blockade, or I don't know how to call it. Maybe even that's why I started a blog to do something on my own, like this, because yeah, it can be really really hard, and uh especially if you like having a losing day. If you like followed your strategy and you didn't do anything stupid, it's not that big of a deal. You know that you have where your edges and stuff like that. But when markets are like, when there is like no volatility, for example, and you just sitting every day watching nothing, and but you have to be there because it can happen, any minute. That's kind of a hard part of day trading. And you can kind of fix that with adding more markets, which I do, but then you start missing some details because you cannot, watch 4 markets at once, pretty much. So yeah, that's kind of a complicated thing
Yeah.
of trading, and especially of the day trading, that it can be really really hard for
Yeah.
like your overall well-being, pretty much. But I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, no, I
So
mean,
yeah,
the thing is, like you want to make money, but the market needs to give you opportunities to make money, and it's
yeah,
not always the
yeah.
case. Like, yeah, and that's like I had a question, where do you perform best, trending or well consolidations or sideways or
Uh, yeah. Well, overall, like sideways mean reversion trading is much easier to trade. Um, First of all, because you are in the most simple way, you are just trading like some SR, like some ranges. You can fade extremes until it doesn't work, which it usually works. You have like market makers holding price in some certain ranges. So it's the trading sideways markets. It's really easy. I can actually show you the chart of the bonds. Just really quickly. I These are pretty much 2 weeks of trading. This range is the last week, and this is 2 weeks before that. This was really hard to trade, and I had one of the best trading weeks last week in this range right here. Uh, so yeah, day trading when market is in the range when it's balanced is actually quite easy because you are just fading extremes basically until it stops working.
Yeah.
Uh, it's there is really small. There's not much more chance you will get caught of offside, which can happen if you try to fake trend and market will just you know move move a lot, so you will get slipped and everything. So yeah, trading trends if you're day trading is actually harder. Also, I don't like to be in positions where I know everyone is in the same trade as I am.
But that's what basically open interest and your how to say it, the delta is showing you, right?
Yeah,
If you're in a
yeah,
crowded trade.
yeah. Still, even on like trending moves, I like to see some sort of, you can call it like stop runs, something like this, for example, when you at least exceed some sort of, support and you all of a sudden know that someone here is getting,
Stopped
out of the
out.
trade. Yeah, yeah, and then you kind of reclaim some structures and, it's much more comfortable to take trades like this than be like, yeah, BTC is going to 80K, I will just long here and hope for the best, which obviously can work out. If even here, like buying here after this move does might not seem like the best idea, but look what happens. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's why it's hard. It's harder for me to get to get into the trading move with once again, some decent size stop loss because obviously, like I said, I want to really get as not too tight but as tight as I can. And you know, if you buy anywhere in this consolidation, for example, this is for our chart, so this is like 2 days, uh, 2 days of trading, and I you still have this in mind that there is this like void that can get filled anytime. In trading, it's always like you will buy here and it will fill immediately, but you don't buy and it will go higher. It's
Yeah.
always like this. So yeah, that's why I'm not biggest fan of trading the trend moves because I need to at least see some sort of a lower time frame stop run. Once again the delta, the volume pickup, something on a
Do,
footprint, for example, to see people are kind of screwed, and then I'm much more comfortable to get
so can you
into the position.
explain it a bit more? Like what we basically want to see is and what that chart, the previous one you had over there, shows you is like
Yeah,
people buying the top and people selling the
yeah.
bottom is basically um,
Yeah, yeah, that's basically if you take a look at footprint, and this is like going on right now. I obviously hard to say if this is going to move lower, but you can see on the right side, basically you have market buyers. On the left side you have market sellers. So
you cut off for a bit over there. Can you still hear me, Adam?
this candle which opened here.
So,
Yeah,
so, so
yeah,
you,
can you
you
hear
you
me?
you cut off for a little bit. Can you like the last
Oh,
part?
okay. Yeah. So I will. You can start like again with question. Maybe I.
No. That one we got. So people got effed with buying the top, and people get effed usually with selling the bottom,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah, and you can see these things. For example, this is also the footprint, but this is filtered by, I think 1 million. Um,
big buys or big
yeah,
sells.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, big buys and big sells. And and I will never find it here. But you can see even here, you have some big buys at the top. market, even though market goes a little bit higher, but then it starts to, moving lower.
Mm-hmm.
And also the trade I talked about a minute ago, this is the bottom we formed,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or it's actually not because that's a different day. I'm sorry. Uh, 18. Jeez. I don't want to, show something which didn't happen. So sorry, but
Sure,
I'm
sure.
pretty sure it happened on the
Oh,
day.
sure.
I just, don't want to
No, it's
confuse
it's
people
it's it's
or
it's
just
totally fine.
get called out on some,
No, 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 no.
things.
We don't do that here.
But let me just find it. I think, yeah, it's here. Yeah, this is the area of the trade that I explained a few minutes ago, and you can see how into these lows, which are uh, on the 30-minute chart, it's this level. I'm just getting lost in my own charts. It's this low right here,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And on a footprint, you can see how much selling went into this level. And once we took out the lows, market kind of shifted, and you had
Mm-hmm.
a aggressive, buyers coming. So this is a good bottom you want to see, and eventually, if you will have a chance to get in with some decent risk to reward, then you want to fade it as well. So
Maybe,
yeah.
do you look at, I don't use this stuff, but if you look at it like that, do you see open interest go up or down as well? Do you see
I
if they
that's
exit or
actually
enter?
I actually don't look at that
Okay, okay.
because yeah, that's one thing I actually don't look at. I know a lot of people do or look at like cumulative, no cumulative, the aggregated the CVD on Coin Analyze or whatever the
Mm-hmm.
website is
Mm-hmm.
called. I don't do that because I don't do it in other markets that I trade, so I don't want to you know add more things. I think I do enough.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
know it
Like,
works for me, so
yeah.
I don't. But I know there's for sure edge there, and
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people are doing it. I just I might do better if I start doing it, but yeah, I just don't.
Yeah, it's really about finding your own edge basically and your own system, and like
Yeah,
be hesitant to add new things, because at one point,
yeah.
if
I
you add too
was
much,
I
it will
was
get blurry, right?
yeah, I was like super hesitant to even adding watching footprint on FTX and Bybit, and but yeah, it's just there are some things you have to do. I think, or you don't have to do, but it's the crypto trading. It's kind of its own niche with a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things. If you, for example, if you look at lower time frame charts on FTX, BitMEX, Bybit, the wicks are different. Candlesticks
Mm-hmm.
are closing at different places. There are
Mm-hmm.
many examples where, for example, not something that happened, today, but if I would go, for example, long here on and watching this BitMEX chart, and I would execute this on FTX, I might get just stopped out on FTX because you will have some liquidation wick there, and
Mm-hmm.
you won't see it on other exchanges.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, if you look at this, a good example of that is the. Can you actually see
Yeah, we're
this
seeing
right
it.
now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're seeing.
This is the Binance perps on Binance, but
Mm-hmm.
you can see this wick right here when
Yeah,
we went
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Uh, this was just like a lot of stops
Mm-hmm.
triggered on Binance, and this kind of sucks because if you, for example, trade on Bybit, this never happened.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that there are some nuances. This is obviously extreme. You will rarely see it on daily time frames, but on lower time frames, this is kind of a daily thing
Mm-hmm.
with crypto.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why this is 5 minute chart, but I usually look at like 700,000 tick charts. So I'm not getting too crazy because uh even something like, let me actually check just real quick if maybe it happened today because I think, yeah, this is the Bitmax 5 minute chart, and you can see this low which happened around 2 15.
Mm-hmm.
You had a basically double bottom here,
Mm-hmm.
and this wick did not exceed this low
Mm-hmm.
uh, here on BitMEX. Um, this is FTX.
Yeah,
Okay,
it did.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and it makes all the difference
Yeah.
if you are scalping and using stop losses. I know a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people don't, but that's kind of a you know different topic. But
Mm-hmm.
if you are trading and if you are trading with super tight stops, these things
Will
will
mess
happen,
you
and
up.
they will
Yeah.
happen. Yeah, it can really mess you up, and yeah, that's why I like to give trades a little bit more space,
Mm-hmm.
especially in less liquid markets
And
like
and
Bitcoin is.
and how about what I found out? At one point on BitMEX is putting stops on the index price because it will wick less
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
on the
heard
index
about that.
price.
Yeah.
Is it even possible on FTX? I don't even know. I'm not trained much on FTX. I'm not even sure it's possible on
Uh,
FTX.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
I'm just using their UI.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Kind of hope for the best with all every trade. I'm sure it's not the best approach, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of what I do.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything I haven't asked that you say, well, if we're talking, I need to show you this as well?
I don't know. I think I try to cover it pretty much. Everything that like what I do. I just kind of don't want to people think that this is some sort of secret way to market. The order
Mm-hmm.
flow and everything, because yeah, it's kind of a flavor of the month now on crypto Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, it's a kind of a if you look at it on YouTube, for example, you have a lot of people are selling courses for like thousands of dollars. Acting like this is some super secret sauce, but it's not. It's just something that really makes sense to me. Watching what other people are doing
Mm-hmm.
in the market and seeing when they are going to have it, for example, on one side, and you know short-term profit from that. But yeah, I don't want this to come across as something
The Holy
which
Grail or
is not.
something. No, no,
Yeah,
this is
because
just, yeah, I understand what you.
eh, yeah, because still, and I know a lot of people who trade like legacy markets. I hope no one will listen to it that I'm you know throwing shades at them, but there are a lot of people, for example, in who trade like ES, which is the S&P 500 futures, and they
Mm-hmm.
they use market profiles. But what they are basically do, they just they are like analysts. They have these charts which are looking great, and they have a lot of lines there and different showing different distributions and stuff like that, and it's all cool and it's all beautiful, but you have to be able to execute on stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which trading relays. Like, I know a lot of people just post charts on Twitter or whatever, but yeah, the money are you have
Mm-hmm.
to trade it
Mm-hmm.
basically. So
Yeah.
so yeah, that's why I also try to, although this looks complicated, I try to keep things quite simple, or as simple as I can, to.
For people who watch this for the first time, it might not seem simple, but no,
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
what you
but
mean. It's your system, and this is how you use it,
yeah.
and this is how you act on the things you see. And do you look at higher time frames as well? And are things different when you look at higher time frames?
Well, there are, the thing with I'm looking at daily chart at like start of every day, basically, because
Mm-hmm.
this is how I plot my levels
Mm-hmm.
on chart. I'm using the composite volume profiles
Mm-hmm.
instead. Like, I combine them. That's like part of what I do. I combine these with a price action, but this the basically the areas where a lot of volumes were executed, they have some roles in the market compared to these areas where no volume were executed. So
Mm-hmm.
this is giving me overall the better context than just, having the simple price action chart and just drawing the horizontal lines. But yeah, I look at the daily time frame, like I said, every day. But the thing is that um, it's quite hard to not get too biased, because the difference between execution on the tick chart and the daily time frame analysis is really huge. Like the jump from daily to the tick chart or 5 minute or 3 minute chart, it's too big. So you can, for example, you can be a bullish for a day, but it can still be fine to short the market first and then go long. And sometimes, if you have a bullish bias coming into new day, it might take, like 3 days. Like if I don't know, like let's say, for example, here, on this day, this is like a completely random example that just seen here, but let's say that on this day you have this kind of a wick, pin bar type of candle, and you can this can give you really a bearish bias that and you might say we are going back to 40K or whatever. Uh, okay, on the next day market actually went down, but then it went up. And if you are stuck on the lower time frames and just keep shorting this, you will lose
Yeah.
quite a
Yeah.
bit of money. But at the end, you were not wrong. You it worked out. You were just
Yeah.
that's once again the execution thing, and understanding this. For example, I'd never look at like weekly chart, although the weekly levels are, if you have like a huge weekly support somewhere, it's like it's level with a great importance, but market can come to the level, be there for 3 weeks, and then move higher. And so once again, you are not wrong on your level, because at the end of the some period it happened, but you are too zoomed in for that to execute properly. So that's why I in crypto this is quite easy, because if you are like bullish or bearish, you can just buy spot, or you can just buy calls, or puts. You can play some options and stuff like that. But yeah, I like to look at higher time frames. But for example, even like yesterday, this doesn't look great, right? Like this candle, we hit some sort of resistance, we are going down. You can come to the day, be like extremely biased that we will hit either this low or this low, and market just went up whole day.
Yeah.
And maybe, tomorrow it will sell off, you will hit your target, but you spend the whole day today on the lower time frame just trying to short it for, to be right. And so yeah, you might lose the money, but at the end of this kind of a price, like you were actually not wrong, because, your target was hit. You were just too zoomed in. So for example, if I would be bearish here, let's say, I would need to once again play this with some white stop, or maybe buy some puts which will expire, I don't know, like 2 weeks from now, so I can give this market enough room to actually kind of fulfill this analysis or whatever I did to for it to happen. So yeah, I like to look at higher time frames. It's at these most obvious areas that these are where people with a lot of money step in. So it's always good to know where you at, but it's a little bit tricky when you get too biased and you wanna get your daily trend move on executed on 5 minute chart. It's also, if you get it right, these are like the biggest trades you will get, because if you are correct and you will really buy the bottom and you will get it right, it's you will have like a huge winners. But once again, it's like easier said than done. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're extremely close to invalidation.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, we're already recording for 1 hour and almost 5 minutes. Are there some things, some more things I haven't asked you, because I'm not sure how long YouTube will let me Like how long it will allow me,
No,
the
it's
video?
it's fine. Like I don't want I don't
Okay.
want it to get like boring.
Oh, no, no, no,
If you
no.
have anything,
Um,
if you have anything to ask, I'm more than happy to answer. But
sure.
there's nothing on my mind that
Okay,
I
okay.
would like
Cool,
talk about.
cool. Any book recommendations?
Uh, no.
No?
Uh,
Okay.
I don't read trading books
Okay.
at all. Actually,
Okay.
I read some, like the classic, the how's it called? Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas and
Oh
all
yeah.
these,
Yeah.
market wizards.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I'm not really a
Mm-hmm.
trading psychology fan.
Sure.
Uh, and I like, actually I like the flash crash. About what happened in 2008 in S&P 500.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good book. Uh, Overall, like the market wizards, for example, are
Mm-hmm.
interesting. I like to read about other people, like some like huge hedge fund traders and
Mm-hmm.
people who really made a lot of money. So these books I find interesting,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I cannot say that I. It's just for me that's like a interesting topic. I wanna read about maybe, but I don't think there was a book that actually like helped me
Mm-hmm.
too much in the trading. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, I mean, some guys might ask themselves, how much money should I need to become a full-time trader, or what amount should I trade with? This is not my question, but this is like uh, kind of a
Yeah,
question
yeah.
guys want to know, or at least someone asked me, to ask you.
Well, this is like extremely complicated to
Mm-hmm.
answer because there is no real answer for it. Like all of us live in different parts of the world. That's like the first thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
someone might have family, and their monthly expenses, I don't know, $5,000, $10,000. Someone
Mm-hmm.
might be in early 20s paying $500 a month rent and spending like another 300 for food.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you need to kind of realize what your monthly expenses are at first. And what's also extremely important is actually your trading style. Because if you are swing trading, for example, you might only take like 2 trades per week or maybe 3 trades per week. And let's say that, I don't know, like two of these workouts, maybe even like one of them work out. When you take less trades, basically, you need more money for trading.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point I wanted to
Yeah.
to say. Because yeah, because if you are trading like frequently, like I do, for example, uh, you it's easier to build an account basically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, but to give you any specific number, I think your one unit of risk should be at least $500. So I don't know if you are day trading risking 1%, it should be $500. If you are swing trading, maybe risking 2%, it should be $500.
Mm-hmm.
So you can make, I don't know, like if you make 5 to 10% per month, it's like it's at least few thousand dollars, euros, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but you can start with less,
Mm-hmm.
obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't. If people really want to start, I would not recommend trading with like less than 10K. Uh, because if you are trading with $1,000 account, it's cool, but you are risking only like, I don't know, like $50 per trade, $100 per trade, and people in general tend to get bored of it very
Mm-hmm.
quickly,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the social media and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You risk $50 per trade, and even you have awesome results, but then you go to Twitter and you see someone flex like 7-figure PNL, and you're like, yeah, that's not not the best thing. And obviously, what people then do is just go, crazy, and
Mm-hmm.
they will lose it all.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it should be enough to for you to take it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's I think kind of a good
Mm-hmm.
answer. It doesn't matter how much it is, but you need to take it seriously. And
Yeah.
also it shouldn't be like, I don't know, like I only trade with I think like in my like it's like 30% of maybe of my net worth. I don't know, maybe
Mm-hmm.
a little more, maybe less. But you don't want to get like stupid with this. You don't want to
Oh.
go all in and send it to some brokerage and then lose it on, and then
Yeah.
what now?
Yeah. Yeah.
So people need to kind of think about these things more in depth. There is not like you need to trade with only 50K or more.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Good. Good. Then yeah, we shall end it. And thanks for your time, Adam. And
sure,
yeah, we'll
sure
publish
thing.
it, and we'll see what the people think. Let us know, guys, how you like the interview. And if you have any more
Yeah,
questions,
I
Adam
hope it
might
was
answer
okay.
them. No, you did very well.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I
guys,
never done these things. It's yeah.
make sure to follow TradingView. Follow Adam on Twitter. His Twitter handle is in the video description. And I see you guys soon.